Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello, and welcome to this interview. Today, I am interviewing the person who's been in business as long as I have, and that is my husband. He has been around, obviously, since I started my business, and someone suggested on Instagram that it would be fun to interview him, and I'm not going to lie, it was a little uncomfortable, a little cringy, like we were cracking up through most of it, but he has had a front row seat to my entire balloon business. He saw me start it. He has been the person that I complain to, that I ask questions to, whether he likes it or not. Like, he's part of the business. And I asked what questions you might have for him. I think some of you will be able to relate. I think a lot of you have spouses that are kind of along for the ride without really asking their permission. They're kind of employees by force, not by choice. And it was fun talking to Zac. And despite some nervous energy at the beginning, it is, I am appreciative to him that he is involved in my business. Maybe not in the ways that you might anticipate. But yeah, we share openly kind of what it's like to run this business, run the podcast, juggle kids, and we answered your questions. So I hope you enjoy. Let's head over to the UGlu Hotline for some great advice that sticks, and then get into this interview with my husband of 14 years, Zac. Welcome to the UGlu Hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, Sarah. My name is Natalia. I am the owner of Balloon Bash, LLC, here in Port St. Lucie, Florida. And my tip today is for anybody who is also looking into getting started with the Profit First book, or who has started with the Profit First book and is moving forward with opening their accounts. I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and I finally read the book, and I'm super excited to get my financials in order. And I actually found out that Truist Bank, for anybody who has one near them, offers free checking accounts for businesses with no minimum requirement and no fees. And I was able to set up all 5 of my accounts at Truist. And they also even offer invoicing and other services for their clients too. So I thought that was really awesome. I have a consultation call with one of their bankers to see if it's the right fit for need, and to see if I would possibly transition from using Square to their on service. But either way, I thought that it was really cool that they have the free accounts, and I thought I'd let anybody know that's also trying to sort their financials the way that the Profit First book teaches. Thank you. Bye.
Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on UGlu when you buy directly from Havin A Party using code BRIGHT at checkout.
And welcome back to the Bright Balloon Podcast with Zac. And introduce yourself.
Okay, this is why we couldn't do this. Okay, welcome to this episode. Today I'm interviewing my husband, Zac. We've been avoiding doing this for a long time because I thought it would be awkward. It's shaping up to be that way. But I've been married to Zac for 14 years. We've been together for almost 20, and I'm going to interview him today about what it's like to be married to me and more generally a balloon person. I think a lot of the questions that people wrote in probably apply to most people that have a business in the balloon world. It's a lot of weekends, a lot of juggling things, a lot of hustling and hard work. And I think a lot of times your husbands or your wives get roped in, even though that's not what they signed up for. So, okay, before we jump in though, I'm going to let Zac introduce himself. Tell us about your job, like what you do, because he does not work for me full time. I guess that's it.
That's all that matters. Zach, I am in a university setting, although I work with grant-funded projects for the church in ministry areas.
And we originally moved here because Zach was a pastor. So I think some of you think of him as a pastor. He is not anymore, but he still works in churchy stuff. And that's what took us to our current town. So we've been living here for 7 years. So my business, most of the growth in my business has taken place in this town. So I started closer to a city, but like the first 3 years of my business were very much side hustle mentality. I think when we moved here is when I kind of set down some roots in terms of a business, and most of my growth has happened over the last 7 years, and Zach has obviously been a part of it. Okay, let's jump in. I have some questions from people. The most overwhelming question was, do you help? Do you help, and do you like working with balloons? A lot of people wanted to know.
I do help. I do like to help, mostly because it's hard to, it's hard to run a business by yourself. So to have some sort of partnership with, I guess, your spouse is nice. So when Sarah comes home after a day of doing whatever she's doing, and then she has to go out and pick up balloons at, say, 11 o'clock, I'm happy to jump in the van and go do something like that really quick. But I don't do like installs. I don't really blow up balloons.
Like, you could do an install if you had to.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. You're not like wanting to learn more about balloons.
Yeah, like when you just had a baby and you had to do an event 3 days after that.
That was not planned. Also, I'm not like that psychotic. It was not planned. I was very early. So Zach and Kate had to step in.
Except, like, she knew very well what was happening when she booked that job. And
it was a $5,000 job. I couldn't have said no.
Hey, I really don't know what to do. And when I say, like, it was 6 months of angst in her just around that one job, it's like that's probably understating how you felt about it.
How would you go back and redo that job? Knowing now, I mean, not knowing that I was going to go early, but knowing that I took a job 3 weeks before I was due, what would you have done different?
Well, I think it was like you had the confidence in Kate specifically, but like you also knew that I am well versed enough to know what to do, when to do it, and I don't like to suck at things. So
yeah,
I wasn't gonna like not do particular things. Like that job, I had to drive back and forth an hour.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible.
To make sure that it was good.
I think if I could go back, I would have subcontracted the entire thing to another business.
But it ended up working fine. It was just a lot of back and forth and not under the easiest of circumstances. But I don't know. That's the kind of, like, do I help? Yes. I know enough and I, like, have a sense of the creative side of things. I know what you're looking for, and I am not happy unless I send a picture and you say, yep. It's all good.
And it's rare that you're doing balloons. I would say, like, the stuff like you said, like, it is hard to run a business alone. I would say the stuff I need the most help with is the physical stuff. Like, I need help unloading the truck, getting air in the tires, driving to Madison and picking something up. Like, all that stuff you did
Moving
this morning.
Sandbags.
Yeah. Physical limitations for me. I'm like, could I move $2,000 or 2,000 pounds of sandbags? Yes. But, like, if I don't have to, I will be happy.
And that's where, like, I can easily step in and just not have to worry about, like, the artistic nature of balloons, even though I feel like I have a decent eye for that. Like, in your columns or in your organic stuff.
Yeah, you, like, can see when something's wrong.
I feel like I can do that, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to do balloons because it's my life's calling.
You're just like Jones in the twist a balloon.
I have no real inclination toward that, but I would say that I have enough wherewithal and can do it, but it's not my cup of tea.
I would say the other place where you help too is, like, I talk about business constantly. Like, however I am on the podcast,
it's worse than you think.
Yeah, I'm not, like, leaving it all on the court when I do a podcast. I, like, finish talking for an hour and then I talk at you for another 2 hours. Like, I always have these ideas. I'm always kind of running through scenarios in my head, or, like, I don't want to say practicing, but, like, getting ideas for if I'm teaching or whatever. And you take a lot of that. And you talk about your work a lot too. Like we like talking about ideas with each other. And I think that's helpful.
Yeah. I think we've just gotten to the point where I've realized that you don't ever turn it off, and I have gotten good about saying, I'm listening to you, but I'm not really going to do much with what you're saying, and sorry if it seems like I'm not paying attention, because I'm just not in the headspace to have to engage in whatever it is. You're an uber verbal processor, so you just need someone to be able to verbally process too, and sometimes I am paying attention and sometimes
well, and same, because you come home and talk about work and it's like religious. Basically you're a consultant. So like sometimes I'm not in the mood to talk about that, so I think we both talk about work a lot because we like it and we like thinking,
and our brains function in similar ways but just in different places, which is good. And then we can turn each other.
Sometimes it's exhausting and it's like I can't do this right now.
Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Havin A Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. Havin A Party Wholesale is on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients, from top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Sempertex, Premium Conwin, and introducing Brookloon, a new balloon line created by the Havin A Party family. They've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havinaparty.com.
Okay, let's move on to another question. I like this one. What's your favorite thing about being married to a balloon decorator?
I think my favorite thing would be, honestly, like the community of people that you've got. Like, I've just gotten a chance to be around enough, whether it was in New York or, traveling with friends, like just being able to know people's faces and names and a little bit more of their stories. Like, that's what gets me going. And that's what I appreciate. The creative side of stuff is cool, but ultimately that I could take or leave that. So it's been fun to kind of get to know people in the space.
I didn't even tell you this, but so I Marco Polo with a group of women every single day, like compulsively. I talk to these balloon women all the time, and like Zach will be around, like we know each other's husbands' names and we talk about each other, and he'll hear the messages, whatever. I didn't even tell you this, that after swim lessons, Jovi made me Marco Polo them to let them know that she jumped in and put her face in the water. She told them. It's like she treats them like her aunts almost. She like needed to share her wins with my balloon friends, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's that aspect of things is cool, that people can come here and I would know who they are, as opposed to just you all exist in this other space of Sarah's life and I'm not a part of it. But it's been fun to get to know people and build friendships in a way with people across the country. That we didn't really have an opportunity to do before that.
Okay, follow up. Least favorite part of being married to a balloon decorator?
I would say that it's the weekend widowedness of balloons that gets a little bit tough, because I'm with the kids a little bit more during that time, and it's not like it's a vacation or anything on the weekends. It's like work sometimes to have to single parent, but I think that's anybody's existence. They are always balancing work and kids and life. So
yeah, that was another question too. Like, do you miss having me around on weekends? I miss being around on weekends, but I do feel like it's been better. Like, I feel like I've been around more, but maybe it's just the season of the year.
I like what the rest of our week looks like, because a lot of the days I work remote and I'm able to be home. So just today I was reflecting on the ability to sit next to each other doing work on something and going, this is a really cool and unique experience that we have compared to a lot of people. So I just appreciate that.
And then as a joke, he asked me to hold his hand.
That wasn't a joke.
Yes, there was.
No.
We were going to work on our laptops holding hands. Was it not a joke?
I just wanted...
I thought it was a joke.
wanted to... Well, I mean, yeah, it's like, technically, I guess it's a joke, but I just wanted to go this is really cool that we get to do this. And yes, maybe like let's hold hands briefly to commemorate this experience. So yes, I
No.
did ask her to hold my hand. Sorry.
I have like these out of body moments too, especially lately because our oldest is back in school. And so I'm just able to take like 2 mile walks with just the baby. And it's like perfect mornings. And I'm like not needing to be anywhere else. And I'm not needing to do anything because work is pretty slow for me right now, which is okay. But it is, I having worked in like an office where like you had a 30-minute lunch break and that was it. It just feels very weird to be like on a morning walk and then like put a show on TV and then do some work and then take a shower and then like I just feel like my life has no structure right now, but in a good way, that it doesn't feel like I even have a job, even though I work my butt off. But like I think of a job as like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and the fact that neither of us have that right now feels pretty cool.
Yeah, it's probably like, I don't know. Did you ask like what's the best part of it?
The best part, yeah. And then you started talking about weekends, which
Yeah,
was another question. But yeah, I would say that is the best part is like the freedom.
Yeah, the just being able to be more present in this season of our lives together with our family. That feels really important. I don't know if I have more words than that, but that feels really important.
All right, next one. And I don't know if you actually know the answer to this. Are you paid?
I get an email every other week that says that I get paid. I don't know what that means other than I can go get a sandwich during lunchtime if I want, but I suppose I am getting paid in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so Zach is paid. He's paid through payroll. Not like a ton, but to do some of the things we talked about. So he does work in the business. He does a lot of the like behind the scenes, putting the marquees away, fixing the van, getting an oil change, getting air, getting gas, a lot of unloading and loading, and then takedowns. Like now
if you need extra hands.
Yeah,
like,
now I have takedown people, but like tonight I have a job where the party is going to end at like 10. He will probably go. So he is on payroll. And it goes through my payroll software and just direct deposits into our joint account. And I manage all the money. So like Zach is paid, but it means nothing to him and he doesn't care. I'm very motivated by money. I would say you're hardly motivated at all by money.
Yeah.
We're trying, this morning we spent some time trying to like roll over my retirement account from my previous employer into our current retirement plan. And like that was the first time Zach has seen our retirement accounts in probably ever.
I mean, I look at
You're
them.
aware. We talk about money a lot, but like he's not motivated. I am like refreshing my feed to see how much we made in investments. Like we're very different. So not motivated by the money. Obviously, for probably 8 years, you weren't paid. I mean, you were just helping me as you needed. This is the first year that you're actually like being formally compensated, but we have joint everything, so it doesn't really matter, if that makes sense.
Formally compensated is in air quotes.
someone else, but do you pay him with a nice dinner? And the answer is no. Maybe Chipotle.
And yes, every dinner is a nice dinner because of balloons.
Yes, that's the thing. We are both kind of living a better life because of that balloon money. So I don't think Zach's like, where's my $100? Even though sometimes he does, and I'm like, it's mine.
If you're looking to grow your balloon business through sales and marketing, Balloon Suite is the high-tech toolkit designed just for you. Let's chat with Jeff Kelly, owner of Balloon Suite, to answer one of your sales and marketing questions. All right. Today, we have a question from Stars Above Balloons. And, this is a good one. We all have this question. How do I make my newsletters interesting so people actually want to read it?
I think one of the best ways to make an email newsletter interesting is to speak to a specific type of customer with that email. If I am a business client and I have a fulfillment center and you are speaking to me with the problems I have with solutions that I need answers to, then I'm going to open that email. Someone who is a wedding planner is probably not going to open that email, and they're going to unsubscribe from that because it's not relevant to them. It's relevant to somebody who's running a fulfillment center or facility like that. And so as much as you can, you want to tailor your email newsletter to a specific type of person looking for a specific type of event or a specific type of assistance. Maybe it's wedding planners Wedding planners, they see lots of events. They can bring in a lot of referrals to you as a business. And so maybe that's what you choose for your email newsletter. Make it about them.
I need to interject here too, because this is unplanned promotion, but Balloon Suite does this really, really well. So I'm promoting your newsletter. You market to balloon people. You solve our problems really well. I always check your emails because they're worth reading. They help me, and I'm selfish. I want the help. So I think luring people in with actual helpful information, right?
And doing it specifically for a type of person in a type of situation. That is how you get people to open and interact with your emails.
Amazing. Thank you.
Balloon Suite helps boost your sales, solve everyday problems, and keeps you on track to reach your goals. Check out the link to Balloon Suite in the show notes wherever you're listening, or head right to balloonsuite.com.
All right. Next question. What do you think about me traveling for work? Like when I go to conferences or I teach?
I think that it's good for you to be able to do that because it's something you enjoy and it connects you to people that you love being around. I like when you don't do it all the time. Like in whenever November, a few weeks, it's like it's me and the two girls and having to juggle all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Doesn't sound like that much fun, but I know that is a time for Sarah to get refreshed and have cool experiences and do fun things, and be with people that she loves to be around. So it's I would say I would lean toward it's a really good thing. It's not an easy thing for me, but it's a good thing for our family. So I'm willing to kind of fill that space the best I can.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be thrilled if you were gone for 7 days. Like it's hard. It's hard with two little ones.
Well, and we've had to figure out like how do I explore really similar spaces, and
Yeah.
coming out of a space where in like working at a church, like your community is built in, and now not being in a church and having the community built in, it's like I've had to explore like what does that look like for me in this season of life. So I affirm that it's a good thing, and yet we're trying to figure out how to explore that for me too.
Yeah, we both went from having, I don't want to say corporate, but like we had formalized jobs. Like we worked W-2 jobs. And now you do, but you're only in the office 2 days a week, and sometimes no one's even in the office. So I think we both are living in a space of like not really having close coworkers or like a team, and like that was a lot of our social outlet. So now to not have that, I think it's important. I mean, like I've been lucky the last couple years. A lot of stuff has been in Chicago, and I've also had a lot of things that people have traveled here for. So that's been good. I think it's also nice with balloons. Like I'm not traveling every month. Like there's not anything every month. Like there's maybe 2 or 3 events I'll go to a year, and even that seems like a lot. But yeah, right now I would say it's hard to leave too. Like I don't love being away from a little baby, like my older one, I know she's fine, but it was hard. I went to float for just like a couple nights, and Molly was what, like 3 months old, 2 months old?
No, yeah, 6 weeks.
She was really little, but it was an hour away from home, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But like I didn't fully enjoy myself. Like I was kind of trying to be in 2 places at once, and it was hard. And anyway, yeah, I don't think you love it when I'm gone, but I think you understand why I need to be.
Yeah, and we're collaborative people, so it's nice to be around people who just get us, and there's not much energy or effort put out to be in those spaces.
I think also too, I used to have a really bad habit of going to events and completely burning out, and then coming home and like having convention letdown, being physically sick and really tired. So it'd be like I'd be away for a week, and then I'd come home and be like worthless and crabby for another week. I feel like I've mellowed out in that sense, and now I can go to a thing, and I'm actually excited to come home, and then I'm like a participant of the family when I return. I'm not just like this tired, sick, crabby person to be around. Or that's how I feel. I feel like events have gotten a lot more sustainable for me.
Yeah, I think having kids has helped that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was true. Like you've been gone for a week, and now you don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah, conventions are, when I first started, they were really fun. And then coming back to like quote unquote regular life and like going back to my day job, like it sucked. It felt like a punishment to like come home, but like that has worn off. Definitely like the shininess of conventions does wear off, but after my first couple I was like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. But yeah, it's like it's summer camp for adults, so obviously it's going to be fun when you have like no jobs, no responsibility, you're meeting all these people, you're staying up to like 3 a.m, and then you come home to like your actual job and it's not as fun. It's like, yeah, no kidding, but that has made it better too. Now I feel like I can go to an event, travel, come home, and it's done.
And I think that's, maturity and just experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kids too also have helped that. All right. When I was first starting out, did you ever have doubts about my business? Like, was I going to make
Which
it?
business?
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Let's say balloons. Well, I guess technically I started with face painting.
Technically, you started making sock monkeys.
I know. I did like craft fairs. It's humiliating. I have a lot of different businesses that
I can tell them
they don't
everything.
know about them, and they don't need to
I
know.
can tell
They don't
them
need
more.
to know. No,
It goes further. It goes further back. It goes further back.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Because you are one of the things that Sarah threw around early on in our life together, is she said the statement, "Never content, always restless," and that is like Sarah's MO all the time. So she's always got something in her brain that's rolling around that's going to launch into a multi-layered business model that she's going to kill because that's just what she does. So,
But I think face painting was my first real business.
yes,
And
that was where real money started showing up.
But I never really, the goal was never to go full time with that.
No, the goal was to make money.
Yes. So there was never really a fear of me like making it or not. It was just all extra because I had a job. But about when I was going to quit my real job, were you worried like this isn't going to work?
No. Because I don't know, you'd been doing it at that point for a long time. One of the things that I tell people a lot when they look at our lives, I go, Sarah's been working 2 full-time jobs for the better part of 10 years. So we've been bringing in basically 3 full-time incomes in 10 years, which has allowed us to kind of live the way we have. So it wasn't like this nervous energy, because I know the podcast is going and the balloons are going and everything that I'm doing in my life. I was never worried about it. And we've also always said, like, we're just good at making money and doing jobs. So if this failed, and we kind of gave it, like, I don't know if we officially said we have to look at this in 12 months, and we just never had to because it was doing fine. But I think we had enough money and resources to get us through whatever initial push to be able to help us through a rough period. But there was no rough period. It just kind of just went.
Yeah, I saved up a year's worth of salary. So I had that in the bank. And, I think mentally it was like, okay, I have a year. But also I wasn't going to draw down to $0. Like, I wasn't going to let myself get to the point where we literally had no money in the bank before I reevaluated. I think I would have been like, okay, things aren't going well. So I think we kind of knew we would both just like self-correct. I don't think we were planning on having a baby. I mean, we were not planning on having a baby. That was the wild card. Quitting my job wasn't as crazy as getting freaking pregnant, but like that was exciting. And because I wasn't working, it didn't really matter. It didn't really affect anything. It was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the pandemic did something for us to reroute our priorities in our lives, where we sold a house and bought a cheaper house that accommodated some of the balloon stuff. And we weren't projecting that in 2020, but when the opportunity came up, we have kind of oriented our lives to live in such a way that allowed for us to get to a point where a year and a half ago, you were like, I'm going to leave my job. And quite literally, you did that on a whim.
Yeah, I did it the day I called you on my way to work, and I was like, I think I'm going to quit today.
You literally decided that without us talking much about it.
Yeah, I called you first, and you were like, okay.
And usually, like, when Sarah has an idea, I don't say no until it makes sense to say no, because she has a track record of just doing awesome at whatever she's doing. So we had talked kind of sort of about what it looked like to not have a full-time job, and when that Wednesday I think it was a Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I think so.
That Wednesday happened. I was like, oh, all right, let's do this. And we kind of, the pieces were already in place. Like we had already been moving in that direction.
Yeah, I had been getting pretty upset with work for a good part of a year. Like it
I
had
think
been
you even
pretty
had
toxic.
it on the calendar, like when you were going to quit, and it just happened to be like
earlier.
Yeah, probably.
It was insurance.
It was because early,
I thought insurance was going to be so expensive, and then I called someone, and he gave me a quote for like $1,000 a month. I think it was even less than that. It was like $800 a month for insurance, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm working this job because of $800. Like I'm not doing it anymore, and I quit.
Yeah, and the pieces were like things were lining up for that moment, for us to kind of dive into this. So I wasn't nervous about it. I don't know, what was the question?
Yeah, were you nervous about like big decisions?
I mean, it was, we'd kind of worked through it to get to that point, to culminate to the point where you left your job and went all in on balloons and podcast.
Okay, that is all of the listener questions that we got. So let's take a break, and I have a couple of my own questions that I'm going to ask you. Hey listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes, SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month. All right, welcome back. Okay, we had some of you guys write in and ask questions, a lot of repeat questions, so that's why there weren't that many. Most of them were about how Zac helps the business. But I have some questions that I'm going to ask you.
You've never asked me before?
Not while you're there being recorded. Okay, this one, do you ever get mad? Not mad, you never get mad, but like, do you ever get irritated when I make big decisions? Like
what?
Like buying the marquees. That was like a $13,000 on a whim decision. Are you ever like, what are you doing?
I feel like I have unconditional trust in you in a way that probably is both healthy and unhealthy. I have had no reason to believe that, like, not to trust you in your decision making.
Especially when it comes to like money and business.
Yeah, I mean, I should worry a little bit more about it, but ultimately, it's like, do we have the money? Can it make more money if you project it out? What are opportunities that you're looking for? What are things that might prevent us from doing whatever? So, no, I don't get real worried about business decisions.
Yeah,
because
I bought the van. That was another huge purchase, but like.
But you needed it.
Yeah,
like you were at the point in your business where you kind of needed to think that way. So something came up, and I think you make decisions in such a way that makes me uncomfortable because of the quick nature of your decision making, or my perception of your quick decision making, because I like just have a different process of decision making. So that would make me nervous. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I don't feel like we've gone off track, or you've gone off track with any of your purchases. Like, they are all, again, in a line, a part of the process of doing what you do.
The one time I accidentally rented our house on Airbnb, you were mad. I listed it and I didn't know.
When is that podcast?
I didn't know that it was like an active listing, and it was also like instant book. So someone like rented the house, and I was like, I'm so sorry, but
let's do some story time.
No, don't.
Story
don't
time.
say anything embarrassing.
Story time. For Sarah's, I don't know, 30th birthday. When was that? I don't even know. Like,
I don't know what you're going to say.
29th birthday, 30th birthday. We bought a teardrop trailer.
Oh, this is getting cut. Don't even tell the story.
And Sarah rented our house on Airbnb. Now, to be fair to Sarah, we were anticipating renting it out because there was the US Open, the PGA Tour US Open in one of the local towns. So we were thinking about renting it, and she just happened to put it on Airbnb, and somebody rented it like the next weekend. So we took our little teardrop trailer in like February to a local park, and we stayed overnight on a Friday night, and we were the only ones in this
with 2 dogs. And if you don't know what a teardrop is, it's like a bed on wheels in like an enclosed little capsule.
And it was good. I mean, we had bought it because we were going to take a trip out west, which is what we ended up doing. So it was good to try that. But we literally were camping in the snow in a trailer with no heat source.
But it worked out. And then on our trip out west, we rented our house the entire time we were gone. So we got paid to go on a vacation across the country to Yellowstone while other people stayed in our home. Yes, so I always have little, I don't know, side hustle schemes. That was another one, I guess. But, okay, I have one more question. And it's kind of a big one. And I'm not sure, I don't know where you're going to say, but where do you see my business going? Do you think I'm going to burn out and quit balloons?
I don't think you're going to burn out and do that. I don't think you're going to quit balloons that way, like just cold turkey.
Do you think I will grow to the point where I have like a full-time manager and I'm hands off?
I could see a scenario where that would be the case, but I think you like having some creative control of your business, and to give that away in any way, shape, or form doesn't seem like it would be like you. So that scenario doesn't make much sense, even though I could probably make quitting would be, if I'm like ranking them, quitting would be on the bottom of that list.
Do you think the podcast will grow?
I think you have interesting ideas about how the podcast grows and what it looks like to shape whatever this is into doing what you want and potentially serving other people in the business. But I don't know, grow, like it's like you do podcasts all the time, so it's not like
I don't know either. I think everything's running kind of well right now. I don't feel super overloaded. I like the juggling of the multiple things, but I don't see myself growing into a warehouse with like a staff. That doesn't feel like me.
Yeah, she says she doesn't like to manage people, so that's probably true.
Terrible at it. I hate it.
And so I don't think you're gonna want to do that, but I do think you like having the business, and you've grown it to a point now where it's like you can't quit it because you're good at it and people know that you're good at it in the area, whether it be clients or other, word of mouth people. So it's not going to be like, I'm never doing balloons again. It's, in my estimation, it'll evolve into like, honestly, whatever is the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, just like, I mean, we talked sock monkeys turned into pumpkin patch
face painting,
yeah. Turned into body painting, turned into like going to a convention to hear about, face painting, and you learned something about balloons, and all of a sudden, like that's kind of like the evolution of things.
Kind of like the marquees. They kind of morphed out.
So like it'll evolve and grow, and I think that's one of your strengths, is to be able to understand like, oh, hey, this is what's happening, and this is what's happened. So now what? And so I don't know what's going to necessarily come next, but I think you're open to figuring that out.
Cool. All right. You want to go get our crying daughter?
That's it? That's
all?
all?
That was long.
You don't have anything else to ask me?
Thank you for coming on.
And here's a break because we had too many.
It's not a break. It's over.
This is Zach signing off.
Stop it. Stop. I'm going to edit that out.
You shouldn't.
Just go.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.